just kids when we fell in love, not knowing what it.
Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today is going to be a little bit different. It's not going to be a vlog. It's just going to be a quick story time. Basically, I mentioned in the past, I want to say 2 videos, I was going to do a story time on how I met my husband. And, you know, basically how because it's been 7 years, so I'm going to basically like go over like kind of quickly how we got from one point in our relationship to where we are right now. And, you know, every relationship has their problems, but, you know, this is a story I personally love because, you know, it's our story. So take it back to 2011 of July. I remember the exact date. It was July 27th, 2011. I was 15 and he just turned 16, and we show up to a youth camp for church that his church and my church had met up, and it's where they, you know, they celebrated, you know, like, or not celebrated, but like, you know, it was church camp, you know, church camp. You go to church every day, you do activities and, you know, stuff like that. You stay with them for a week. So, we went to church camp and I had seen him and I was like, oh wow, you know, he's really cute. The previous week I was talking to another guy. I know. But it wasn't nothing serious. It was just like, you know, texting over the phone via, I think it was when I first got Facebook. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna go to camp and I'll text you as soon as I come back. And then I met him. And I was like, oh, wow, he's like super, super cute. He is, you know, very handsome. And in church camp, you have like teams. So you guys could like compete and like in games. And some of the games could get pretty, like, not intense, but like they get pretty gross. And it's like, it's fun. It's very competitive. So I was like, oh, please, 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 please let him be in my group. And what you do is you go to one of the camp counselors and they're like, okay, you're in this team, you're in this team, you're in this team. Your counselor is so-and-so, so-and-so, so-and-so. And my counselor, his name was Philly. So he's like, oh, you go to Philly. And I was like, all right. So I grabbed because we had like little bandanas to represent what team you're in. So everyone knows like, okay, I'm against you, you're my team, another person, like team I'm against. And so I'm walking to my table where I see my camp counselor. And first person I see is him. And I'm like, oh my God. I was thinking, I was just kidding because now I'm going to be really shy, you know? I know I'm going to be nervous and I'm going to say something stupid and all this and that. And for some reason, I just had like a feeling in the pit of my stomach. Like, I like him. There's something about him I really, really, really like. So fast forward a little bit, we're decorating our team flags, blah, blah, blah. And he had to leave for practice because he played the bass for the music. I was like, dang, like he plays music too? Over the course of the week, I made a fool of myself multiple times. I talked too much. He talked very little because he's just not really a talker. And then towards the end of camp, my older sister who was with us was like, hey, you know, you should go get his number. And I'm like, nah, like he doesn't care about me like that. Like, you know, I don't think he wants to text me. So I was like, no. And so she's like, just go do it. You never know. Like, how do you know, like, if anything could come from it if you, you know, you don't try. So I'm like, all right, like, you know, I understand, I get you. And I was like, all right. So I go up to him and I'm like, hey, do you want to text me? Like, can we text? And he's like, well, he gives me his, and I'm like, here, go ahead, you know, put your number in. And he's like, all right, here, you know, like, there you go. And you know, camp's over, we're leaving, everyone's heading back. He's heading back to go home with his family, with his church. I'm heading back to go home to my family with my church. And I texted him right away. I was like, hey. But that, that was it, because I was like, nah, this boy ain't gonna respond to me. And so we're loading up in the van, and I'm talking to my sister. She's like, hey, did you get his number? Blah, blah, blah. I was like, yeah, I got his number. And then they're like, ooh, Angel, like, the other girls that we're with and everything. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, guys, I'm gonna marry this guy. And my youth pastor had just gotten in the car, and she was all, what are you talking about? Like, marry who? And I was like, Angel. And she's like, Lou, we don't come to church camp for relationships. We come to meet God. I was laughing. I was like, I know. I was like, but God brought me to him. Because like within that past year, I had just gotten out of a really bad relationship with my ex. He was verbally abusive, I would say, with the way he used to talk to me. Like, it was very belittling. Like, that's all he used to do. So I was like, no, like, this time Jesus brought him to me, I swear. And I was like, you know what? This is how our story's gonna go. I was like, we're not gonna see each other for a while. I was like, but then one day we're gonna be like in our 20s, and somehow we're gonna be living in the same town. We're gonna be living like a couple blocks away from each other, and we're gonna run into each other. I was like, he's gonna like me, but I'm like, nah, I'm too busy. And he's not gonna take that for an answer. He's gonna be like, nah, like, we're gonna go on a date. And that was my whole mindset. And I was like, we're gonna get married, we're gonna have children, we're gonna grow old together, we're gonna die together. And my youth pastor is just like, girl, you're crazy. Like, you're too young to be thinking about marriage at 15 years old. And I'm like, girl, he da boo, obviously. And, I'm still living with my dad. And my dad's like, nah, like, you're not allowed to date, blah, blah, blah. My ex ruined it for me. And I'm like, are you serious? Fast forward, I want to say a couple months. I end up moving back in with my grandma and my biological mother. Sorry, I thought I had a scratch on my arm or my neck. And I moved back with my biological mother, and I messaged him on Facebook, and I'm like, hey, do you want to be my boyfriend again? Because we actually started dating before my dad said no. So what can you do, Dad? You didn't stop us. And so the next thing you know, we're dating for 4 years, and July 20th of 2014, July 2014, he proposed to me on the beach. And it was so cute because he knew I loved the beach. And it's funny because I remember him acting like really strange that day, but I thought it was just like because I was leaving. I was actually going to be heading back home to Colorado the next day. Oh, that's what I forgot. So rewind. We're dating for 4 years. We finished school. He has to move to California because his family had moved back here to California, and he couldn't make, and like, work was so slow that he had to move, and he couldn't make it financially. So I told him that that's fine, I'm gonna stick with you regardless. So we're engaged, whatever, and then I'm still living with my grandma. But the thing is me and my grandma would bump heads a lot. I think it's just it's life, whatever. And we would just bump heads a lot, and I told him, I'm like, I cannot do this. So we get married because I'm bumping heads with my grandma too much. And the way that I was going to church a lot, so the way that I was brought up was, you have to get married before you move in with somebody. To each their own. If you get married after you move in, after you have kids, that's up to you. It's just the way I wanted to go about it. And he definitely respected my wishes about it, which was awesome. So I told him, I was like, I can't handle living with my grandma anymore. Like, we're just having too much problems, and I don't want that in my life. Like, I don't want to stress out, and it's not worth arguing or fighting. So he's like, okay. So next thing you know, we get married, and a little bit later passes. He's still in California, I'm still in Denver, and I'm just like, oh man, like, I miss my husband. Not even my boyfriend, not even my fiance, my husband. I miss him. And I'm just like, oh, like I want to see you, I miss you. And my home situation didn't really change. Me and my grandma were still bumping heads, you know. I wasn't making enough money, so I was constantly stressed out. And my husband was trying to help me as much as he can, but you know, from a distance, he had bills on his end to pay. He was trying to save up so we could move in together. So I was up for a promotion on my end at Walmart where I worked, department manager. So I would be in charge of my department, which was jewelry, which I was already doing basically everything. I was setting up, I was taking down, I was helping customers, you know, basically whatever, everything you do in jewelry, I was doing. And so they're like, hey, let's give you this promotion and you could get the money for it. You could do this, you could do that. But I had to take a test. So I called my husband and I said, hey, they want to give me a promotion. But I don't know what to do because, you know, I want to live with you, but how is that going to work if I get a job? You know, like, am I going to move with you? Or are you going to move with me? Like, what's the situation going to be? So we talked it over and we decided, if I get the promotion, that means he comes back to Colorado with me. We'll find him a job and everything like that. But if I couldn't pass the test for the promotion, I should have said, then that means, you know, it's basically a sign like I have to leave, I have to move, and I'm done. And I'll just move to another state, move with you, we'll go from there. I'll get a transfer, blah, blah, blah. So then, you know, I failed the test, obviously. And I moved to California, where I moved to Compton. I became a manager there. I'm still working at Walmart, but I eventually become a manager in an apartment complex in Compton. I relocate and I deal with some crazy stuff. It was still in Compton, but I relocated to another apartment in Compton and I dealt with some bizarre stuff. Let's just say I had someone like this close just yelling at me for a situation that was not my problem. I was just trying to de-escalate it, you could say. And that didn't work. Like, the lady yelled at me, blah, blah, blah. Like, if you guys want to hear, like, specific stuff that you hear between these stories, like, oh, can you explain that more? Just leave a comment. But, so, you know, I dealt with some crazy stuff in Compton, but then I fell pregnant within a couple of months of us living there. And, or no, I think it was like a year of us living there. I fell pregnant, but then I ended up miscarrying our first baby due to me working 2 jobs, I want to say, and like everything just, you know, wasn't perfect timing. I miscarried our first baby, which caused a lot of problems for us. I want to say I still do, but I suffer from depression. And some days are so easy. There's times I can go long periods without feeling like anything. Then some days, like, it's so hard. Ever since I had my daughter, I don't suffer as much. It's just, I would say it went from more of a severe depression after I lost our baby to mild, like slight mild depression, which isn't bad. It's just, you know, it comes in waves. If you suffer from it, you definitely know what I'm saying. Forward, I quit my managing job because I was just too stressed. I couldn't handle it. I wasn't getting paid, and all I was getting was a discount on my rent. And then on top of it, me working for them, me working for Walmart still, and dealing with a lot of crazy drama inside of Walmart in another department, it wasn't worth it. So I quit one job, continued working at Walmart, and then we ended up moving to a different part of town. So I came to be pregnant, I want to say, I think like a couple months after our miscarriage, like maybe 2 months after our miscarriage. You know, me and him had a lot of problems, and it, you know, we worked it out. That's the good thing about our marriage, is we work it out. You know, we had a bad falling, but we worked our way back, and, you know, here we are. We moved in with his brother, his brother's girlfriend, and both of us were pregnant. So fast forward, we live in Pomona with his brother and his brother's girlfriend. She's pregnant, I'm pregnant. And, you know, of course, living with roommates is not always the best, but, you know, you get through it. I still get along with them, which is awesome. We live in, now we live in Chino, California, and we live with my mother-in-law, my father-in-law. My daughter's Nino, who is my other brother-in-law. I have the brother-in-law I lived with before live here. I have my sister-in-law, my husband, my daughter, and myself. So there's a total of 8 people in here in a 4-bedroom apartment. So all of us live together in our apartment, and it's actually really nice. It's really tall. If you kind of seen some clips of me and the baby like walking around outside, you could kind of you know, see a little bit in the background. Really nice apartments. Oh, okay, anyways. So I have not worked since I was 8.5 months pregnant, I want to say. Now my daughter's 1.5 years almost. So it's been like almost 2 years since I worked, which, wow, that is wild. Like 1 year and so many months. Yeah, and so, you know, like, you know, now my husband makes really good money. He's a foreman at his job where he builds cell phone towers. He makes really good money, enough for me to be able to stay home and care for my daughter, which I'm forever grateful. And you know, growing up and being with this beautiful baby, she gets to see 2 of her grandparents, which is awesome. She gets to grow up with her Nino, her auntie, by her side as well. And, you know, I mean, unfortunately, she doesn't see my family as often, but like I mentioned before, we're actually going to be going to Colorado this weekend, the end of this weekend. So she still gets to see them, just not as often. And we usually mainly just visit my dad in Colorado. I see my biological mom every so often. Fortunately, when I was pregnant, I had lost my stepmom, whom I was really, really close to, and that broke my heart so bad. But I feel in my heart that she does come visit me and my daughter every so often, because I feel she's in heaven. And if you're in heaven, to me, you're an angel. And I feel she's an angel who comes visits every so often to check on her granddaughter and her daughter. So yeah, that's basically our little story. The video's gonna be kind of long, so I'm sorry, and thank you if you watched this far. It's been a crazy 7 years and like a month. So, but thank you for watching my video. If you want more types of these videos, which I am still planning on doing my labor and delivery one, it's just this one I wanted to put first because it makes more like time-wise sense, I guess, to put how I met my husband and then how I came into labor, you know? So thank you for watching this video. I hope you liked it. Click subscribe to be notified for future videos, the little bell button. And me, Selena, will be back soon, and I will be posting my labor and delivery story time very soon. I just gotta sit down and do it. And tell me if you guys like this lighting, because I'm in a very weird situation. I'm in my bathroom. This is my closet. This is the door to get out, and obviously my very bare little towel rack. I took it down because it didn't look good in the back. Anyways, so yeah, so like, comment, subscribe. Let me know if there's anything you want me to dive deeper into that you might have heard of that says, oh, can you explain this more? Well, we shall go from there. Thank you guys, and hope you're having a wonderful day.